Today we're going to talk about something we all struggle with, that feeling we call laziness. You know, that heavy, frustrating sense that you just can't get anything done? But what if I told you it's not a character flaw? What if it's actually a signal, a message your brain is trying to send you? Let's get into it.
Oh yeah, we've all been there. Your to-do list is just staring you down, but you literally cannot bring yourself to start. Instead, you're, scrolling your phone? Suddenly alphabetizing your spice rack? And right on cue, here comes the guilt. That little voice in your head telling you you're lazy, unmotivated, undisciplined. It's a really nasty cycle, right?
Well, here's the big idea we're going to unpack. That feeling you call laziness, it's almost never about actually being lazy. It's a signal. Think of it like the check engine light in your car. It's a warning that something under the hood is off. So our job isn't to just ignore it and try to power through, it's to figure out what that light is trying to tell us.
Okay, so let's start with the first group of signals. These are the ones that come from inside our own heads, the mental blockers that pretend to be a simple lack of willpower.
First up, good old-fashioned fear. This is when you spend way more time planning and researching than you do actually doing the thing. You tell yourself, oh, I'm just getting prepared. But let's be real, you're just avoiding the starting line. You're afraid of failing, of what people will think, or hey, maybe even afraid of succeeding in what comes next.
So how do you beat it? Well, you have to disarm the fear. Make the task smaller. Give yourself permission to do a terrible job, a bad first draft. Or, my personal favorite, lower the stakes to almost zero. Just tell yourself, I'm only going to work on this for 5 minutes. The goal isn't to finish the whole thing, it's just to start. That's the hardest part.
All right, signal number 2 is the fixed mindset. This is that voice that says things like, ugh, I'm just not a math person, or I can never be that creative. When you believe your abilities are just set in stone, any new challenge feels like a threat. So rather than risk proving yourself bad at something, it's just easier to not try at all.
Now the fix for this is, and I'm not kidding, incredibly simple. It's all about adding one tiny 3-letter word to your thoughts. Yet. Shifting from I can't do this to I can't do this yet completely changes the game. It turns what feels like a permanent wall into a temporary hurdle you can actually get over.
Now this one is sneaky, but it is so powerful. Signal number 3 is identity. See, if you've spent years telling yourself, I'm not a morning person, or I'm just a procrastinator, then your brain will actively fight any evidence that suggests otherwise. Procrastinating actually becomes a way to prove your own story right. It's wild.
So the solution is to build a new identity through your actions. You don't wait to feel like a disciplined person to start acting like one. You just act. Every time you do something small, like waking up 10 minutes earlier, it's like casting a vote for that new identity. You're building proof, one small action at a time.
Okay, so we've looked at the blockers inside our own heads. But what about when the problem isn't our mindset? Sometimes the signal is coming from the work itself. These are what we'll call the task-related hurdles.
Signal number 4 is confusion. This happens when you have something on your to-do list like work on the project or plan the trip. Your brain just looks at that and goes, what does that even mean? It feels huge, it feels vague, and that ambiguity creates friction. And our natural response to friction is, you guessed it, to avoid it.
The cure for confusion is always clarity. So first, you have to define what done actually looks like. Then, and this is the absolute key, identify the very next physical action. Not write the report, but open a new document and give it a title. Break that overwhelming thing into tiny 10-minute chunks. All of a sudden, it's not so scary.
Now, on the complete flip side of being overwhelmed is being, well, underwhelmed. Signal 5 is boredom. This is for those tasks that are just repetitive, monotonous, and not challenging at all. Your brain craves stimulation, and if the task isn't giving it any, your brain's going to go find it somewhere else, probably on social media.
So how do you fight boredom? You got to inject some novelty or a challenge into it. Using a timer, like with the Pomodoro technique, creates a sense of urgency. Or you can turn it into a little game. Can I get through these emails in the next 15 minutes? Even just putting on a different playlist or working in another room can be enough to reset your focus.
All right, signal number 6 is a really tough one. A total lack of interest. This is when you know exactly what to do, you have the skills, it's not confusing, it's not even boring, you just fundamentally do not care about it. There's no personal meaning, no reward in sight, and your motivation is at absolute zero.
Look, if you can't find motivation in the task, you have to build motivation around it. Try connecting it to a bigger goal you actually do care about. Like, ugh, doing this boring paperwork helps me grow the business I'm passionate about. Or, just bribe yourself. Promise yourself 20 minutes of your favorite show when you're done. Whatever works.
And finally, let's talk about the last signal. This one is maybe the most overlooked of them all. It's not about your mindset, and it's not about the task. It's a signal coming directly from your body. And that signal is just plain tiredness. This is when you've checked all the other boxes. You're not scared, you're not confused, you even care about the task, but you just physically cannot summon the energy. This is not a character flaw. This is a biological reality. You are running on empty.
You have to hear this. The solution for burnout is not more willpower. It's rest. It's recovery. This is a signal to protect your sleep, to maybe take some things off your plate, and just be kinder to yourself. Pushing through exhaustion just digs the hole deeper. Sometimes the most productive thing you can possibly do is rest.
So let's bring this all home. The whole point was never to get rid of laziness, but to learn how to translate what it's telling you. It's about making that shift from self-criticism to self-awareness.
So here they are, all 7 signals on one screen. Think of this as your new diagnostic toolkit. The next time you feel unproductive, instead of just feeling bad about it, you can ask yourself, which of these signals is my brain or my body sending me right now? Is it fear? Is it confusion? Or am I just plain tired?
And that really is the ultimate takeaway. The word lazy is a judgment. It leads to guilt. The word signal is a diagnosis. It leads to a solution. When you can understand the real root cause, you can stop fighting with yourself and actually start fixing the real problem. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. The next time you feel that all too familiar pull of procrastination and that old lazy label pops into your head, just pause for a second. Ask yourself, what is the real signal here? Because answering that question, that's the first step to getting unstuck. Thanks for tuning in.